Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We're All Psychic, and we have Patricia back today, listeners and watchers. This is a video on Spotify and YouTube. And Patricia, would you like to say hello to our listeners and watchers?
Yeah, hi guys. I'm glad to be back again.
I'm so excited.
I got some new stuff.
She has new stuff. And last podcast, she'd been on a few times, but last couple times. Last time I think you were on, listeners and watchers, if you did not see it, she did a demonstration of some of the cards she made in her tarot. Was it a tarot deck or it was a tarot deck, wasn't it, that you were building?
It was a tarot deck, that one, yeah.
So I thought, yes.
Yeah.
And now she's back to talk about, well, a lot of things, but she wants to show us some work she's done on an oracle deck, and it's based on Carl Jung, right? And some of his ideals.
Yeah, Carl Jung. And the Tree of Life. This is the original collage that I did, and it inspired me to do an oracle deck.
Yeah, and listeners, she's pointing at her background. If you're not watching, you can. If you're not watching, you will describe the cards. We're going to show them. And of course, I forgot to ask you, Patricia, right away. Do you still think we're all psychic?
We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, well, where would you like to start to talk to us today? What do you want to teach us about and educate us about?
Well, I started with this idea of the Tree of Life. It actually began as a children's book.
How would you describe the Tree of Life to someone who's doesn't even know what the Tree of Life is? How would you describe what that is to someone just new to the podcast, new to metaphysical, Kabbalah, anything?
Right. The Tree of Life is a universal idea. It's an archetype that is found all over the world in many different forms, many different cultures, and it is kind of a big symbol complex that includes many different ideas. It is a true archetype, like Jung talks about, because he talks about an archetype being like an archetype has no center. It has nothing in the middle. It is so beyond. It is so many steps beyond the material world that it's abstract.
Okay.
And then as it manifests into the material world, into our thoughts and our ideas and our pictures and then our words, it takes on form. And the way it takes on form is by these different examples. Yeah. So the Tree of Life, for example, in ancient Mesopotamia, there's a Tree of Life that belonged to Inanna, who is the goddess of the earth, right? And she had a Tree of Life. And then in the Vikings and the Norse mythology, they had a Tree of Life that was a map of the world, and it had many different. Actually, the Norse Tree of Life is probably the most complete of all of them.
Okay.
Like some of the archetypes have just like one or two elements.
That's just fascinating because I had always associated the Tree of Life with Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah. I didn't know much more than that.
Oh, yeah, that's one example. Yeah. Absolutely. But the Norse one has probably the most elements. There's a tree with roots that go deep into the underworld.
Do you want me to pull up that picture of it?
Yeah.
Right. Listener, watchers, you can watch this, I guess. If you don't want to watch it, you have to close your eyes or look somewhere else. And listeners, you can listen.
At the base of this tree are the roots, and then there's a well or a pool. And next to the pool, there are goddesses. And the goddesses are, actually, they're called the Norns. And the Norns are past, present, and future. Yes. And also at the base of the tree is a snake. A world snake. And then there's the tree, and the tree has different layers. Like there's the lower world, the middle world, and the upper world. And we live in the middle world. and the upper world is Asgard, where the gods live. And then at the very top, one of the features of the tree is it has birds in it a lot of times. And there's also often a star or a crown at the top. And I'm still working on this image because I did it by AI and it turned everything upside down. But anyway, disclaimer. I'm learning.
Well, no, I was looking at this upper world being the roots and the underworld being the tree branches. And I was like, well,
yes, sometimes it's turned upside down.
I was like, that's kind of mind expanding. I'd never thought of it that way before, but I see. Okay.
Yes. Krishna talks about that tree in Hinduism, that the tree has roots in heaven and branches on the earth. Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, of all trees, I am the people tree. And the people tree is a sacred ficus.
Okay.
And the sacred ficus, they have pictures of the sacred ficus of these, the seals from the Harappa culture, the little clay seals, have pictures of people trees on them. It's so old, this idea.
Okay.
So, So there's just a lot of cool stories about these trees that to me, they illuminate things about our relationship to the world.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the basic idea. And Jung he really loved trees and he dreamed trees. And in the Red Book, he drew a lot of images, painted a lot of pictures of trees, and he had trees in his dreams. The first dream that he had about trees was when he was very young, and he dreamed about going to Liverpool. In Liverpool, he was in this dream in Liverpool, and everything was dark and horrible. And he walked to the center of town, and there were all these squares, and he came to the central square in the town. And all of a sudden, in the middle of this park was a brilliant, shining tree. I think it was an ash tree. And he drew a mandala of this. It's a mandala that I think you have that one to put up, the mandala that Jung did. It's very abstract, but it does have this central, it's almost like a rose in the center. Yeah. So he was really big into that, and he talked a lot about the tree of life. And he was interested in the tree of life as a philosophical. There you have something that's the actual.
Which one are you looking for? This one. Which one did you want to see which one it is?
It's square.
I didn't get a square one. These are all the ones I got from you, I think.
Okay. Well, never mind. It's a mandala.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Describe it to us. The watchers have to do what the listeners are doing now.
Right. It's a square that has geometric like triangles leading into this central form that looks like a rose. It's very bright, and it's actually looking down on the city, this Liverpool. Liverpool.
What Liverpool? Where are we talking about now? We're talking about England. For no reason.
The living pool, right? Living pool. So it's bright colors. It's like oranges and what are the colors? I think there's some green in it. It's really brilliantly colored. And gold. He likes to put gold in things.
Okay.
So yeah. And then probably another of the most complete images is the shaman's tree. And the shaman's tree there's a picture of the shaman's tree there. That's one that some of the images I just took something and slapped it on the card because it was so good. But in this case, I put some elements together because I just felt like the shaman's tree is so rich. And
Is it this
The
dream tree one, or is it?
No, that's a dream tree. That's Nebuchadnezzar's tree. You want me to talk about Nebuchadnezzar? No.
Oh, yes, definitely. But I figured while we're at if I can figure out what I'm doing, I can pull up the
Okay.
right file for you that you're
Okay.
describing. They're so small.
Okay. It's
See what they
one.
are.
It's got a shaman in it with a drum.
I remember that picture. They're just so tiny. I can't see. I think it's this one then.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Is that it?
No,
Oh
that's the beast
man.
noise. Anyway, let's just talk about whatever comes up.
Let's do that. That's easier, but you
Let's
were
do
doing such a
that.
great
That's
job, and I just can't see what I'm doing. We'll go in
You're
order.
right.
How about that? And that way we won't mess up again. We'll start with this one. This one's mysterious.
Okay.
What about
Now
this one?
that's an interesting tree. There are lots of old, venerated trees.
Yeah.
And this particular tree is an actual tree that's in Bahrain. And it's called the Living Tree of Life. And it's in the middle of the desert. There's like kind of a mystery about how it has survived and how it's thrived in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's not really an oasis. It
Yeah.
must have roots that are really deep and be a particular kind of tree that grows in the desert. But anyway, so um, this tree really caught my eye because part of the time I spent when I was in India, I spent in Rajasthan. And in Rajasthan, it gets so hot that if you're driving on the road, if you're driving on a tarmac, your tires will burst because the tar has melted. It is that hot. And at least it was when I was there. And I'm sure it still is. Probably they have better roads now. But anyway.
Yeah. Or tires, better cars, better everything.
Something. So
Everything.
we stopped at this place. It was like we were fortunately under a like kind of a tent thing, trying to cool down. And the desert, when it's hot like that, it becomes it's kind of like you can see the vibrations, not just the heat
Yes.
rising off the desert, but
Wow.
changes in color that are just vibrant
You can
and
see it in this
subtle.
picture. You can see how it's kind of happening if you just
Yeah,
stare
yeah.
at the tree and everything around it starts
Yes,
that
exactly.
kind of mirage thing, you know?
Oh, good. I was going for that. I was
It
going for
looks
that.
like it, yeah,
But
especially if I
when I
stare
was,
at it.
yeah, when I was in the desert, there were these women who were walking toward us in the desert. They're not like these women. They were dressed in beautiful, vibrant neon saris, and they were
Okay.
just walking through the desert and just it was such a it was like crossing over into the other dimension, you know?
Okay. Okay.
And so I wanted to kind of capture that. But surviving in the desert is like that. In Rajasthan,
Yes.
people know how to live in the desert. Even the people, my in laws who lived in the village, when they went to the desert, their way of doing things was completely desertified. Like they knew how to keep water
Desertified.
cold and they knew how to sit in the shade and,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's that picture. How surviving in the desert, the idea of how do we survive in the desert? How do we, um, when things are empty and harsh, how do we
I want to talk about
survive?
this one. Celebration.
Yeah, Christmas tree.
I love
Christmas tree.
this. Love
Tree.
this.
Yeah,
I love
Christmas
all
trees
these
are.
little children.
Yeah.
That little one in the front, he looks like he's such a charmer.
Yeah.
The hat on.
Yeah. I actually took that partly from my tarot deck because I just love that picture so
I do
much.
love that. That is just great. I love it.
Yeah.
So the Christmas tree is, yeah, it is a tree of life. It's a tree of celebration.
It's a tree of life. In ancient times, the Romans, the Greeks, all ancient peoples made uh, decorations with evergreens during winter, and they actually put fruits on them and so on. And then it kind of became popular in Germany as what they called the paradise tree. And Martin Luther, it said that there's a legend that says that Martin Luther was looking at the stars twinkling at night, And that's when he decided that the tree needed lights on it, that needed the light of Christ in the dark of
Oh
winter.
man, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
I love that one.
celebration. I actually
Yeah.
had a patient who her her way of healing was really unique. And basically it was about creating celebrations at different points in her life.
Yeah.
And that card reminds me of her.
Oh,
This
sweet.
this is the shaman's tree.
Okay, shaman's tree. I
Yes.
see it. Yeah, I see the drum now. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, see the shaman there.
Yeah.
And that's his drum. It's a really big drum. I made it
Yeah,
really
everybody
big.
needs a drum like that.
Yeah. But you can see
Watch
it
the
has a
beat of your
tree.
own drum, my friend.
Right, right. Exactly. And
Oh, I love that journey
the,
inward. Yeah.
yeah, journey inward. The tree that he beats the drum to create a trance state,
Okay.
to climb the tree of life, to speak to the ancestors, to find healers, to bring back souls. It's all the shamanic work
Yeah.
about riding this drum. And sometimes the drum is called a horse because he's
Really?
riding his horse
Oh yeah.
up
Yeah.
the main pole of the universe. Um, so that's the inward journey. And I just put
I
some
love
extra
that.
things like amanita mushrooms and reindeer
Yeah.
and some things that actually go with the Russians originally studied the
Siberian.
Siberian
Yeah.
shamans. So yeah, I put that in.
I've always loved shamanism. Like when I was trying to figure out if I identified as anything in the metaphysical world or spiritual world or anything for a long time, like shaman was as close as I could get to tagging myself as a name of something, you know.
Right. It's very um
It is accessible and it's been
very,
through like our history forever.
yeah.
Everybody's had
It's been
shamans.
here forever, and it's kind of the spirituality of it is in us. It's in our blood, it's in our nervous system. The way that the shamans use tools to do their work are very much tied into the nervous system, the neurological basis of the practice. There's a lot to that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And
Okay.
this one is Jesse's royal tree. And Jesse was the ancestor of Christ, and Jesse was the father of David. And in the Middle Ages, and also there's a beautiful stained glass window in Chartres that's
I
a
love
picture of
these.
Jesse's tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually a combination of medieval illumination and some little excerpts from the Chartres tree of Jesse.
Cool.
And so what it does, it talks about the continuity, of inheritance. And inheritance is really interesting because it can go in families and ancestry, and it can also go through initiation, through gurus, through
Yeah.
teachers, and
Yeah.
passed on one from
Yeah.
another. And the guru thing is actually a cultural variation of that genetic predisposition that keeps getting passed on and on.
Yeah.
So, there's my 5 o'clock.
Interesting. Oh
So,
no.
yeah.
Do you have to
So,
go?
what else do I want to say about it? No, it just goes off no matter what I
Oh,
do.
that's what you meant by 5 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
right,
right. It
right,
does go. See,
right.
my phone's been quiet. I don't remember if that was before or after we started recording, but listeners, we were joking before recording that our devices like to go off. And she said every time 5 o'clock happens, something goes off. I was like, what? I forgot already. I haven't done a
Right,
podcast with
right.
you at 5 o'clock. I don't think so. I'll have to test this theory and have
Yeah,
a
that's
podcast next
that.
time, same time.
Mhm.
Okay,
Ah,
next picture we have the 59 force fusion.
yeah.
It's fun to say.
fusion and force, and that is Hilda von Hilma of Klint. Hilma of Klint was probably the most well-known of the 19th and 20th century spiritualist painters. And it has a very interesting history. Most people know about Hilma, but there's not much. There's starting to be information more about her predecessors. And right after the Civil War, spiritualism really came to fruition in the United States because
Yeah.
people wanted to talk to the dead,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they started all these seances. So in Sweden, Hilma, who was a trained artist, started having these seances. It was called the Group of Five. These five women would get together and do these drawings. And they're actually spirit. The original ones were spirit drawings that they use with a planchet, that like you use with a uh, Ouija board.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, the
Yeah. Yeah.
planchet
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they do is they attach like a crayon or something,
A
and they
pendulum, or
plant
yeah.
it,
Okay. Yeah.
right? But she started having direct contact with guides who told her what work she should do.
That's.
And so
Mhm.
she did this series called The Tree of Life, and this is the first in the series. And
Oh.
you can see how she's incorporated elements that are very similar to the Norse Tree of Life.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
I can see the directional stuff. The
yeah,
compass, and
exactly.
yeah, I can see that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool.
Right. In fact, Jung talks about orientation, that the tree of life at its most essential is a orientation in the universe. And it can just be
Interesting. Yeah.
a pole
Axis
or
Mundi, right?
yeah, axis mundi, exactly. Yeah.
Love it.
It's funny. You hear these words and but to really for me, what I find is to really take them in, I have to think about all the things that are related to it. And then it kind of illuminates the word for me.
It does. And I've always liked that about learning like how to say a word in a different language and to hear it said something differently or in a sentence in a different language. And that's always interested me too, to give it a different context. I like to look into what is it, etymology? Well, the where you look into the history of the
Etymology.
word.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Etymology,
that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, or they
Instead
used to
of
have a website
entomology.
that was like etymology.com. I can't remember what it is, what the word is, but I used to go to there
Right.
and just, put all kinds of like phrases and stuff in there just to see where they came from. And you can do a
Right.
chat GPT now. But
I know.
I've always been fascinated to see both, how a word comes out in another culture and how it does in another language and how it does, where it came from. I'm fascinated by that, especially in my own language, where it came from, because I know my own language so well, the only one I know.
Okay.
No sabe español mucho.
Right.
No sabo. No.
So Hilma was really interested in resolving opposites, in balancing male and female, and you can see some of that in this
Yeah, I can
image
see
too.
this like about struggle and balance in the pastels. Some of the,
Yeah.
when I look at this one with this, this is my favorite one so far. I don't know why. It's just really love it. And it is the colors and the shapes. I don't know, something about it just really, I just love staring at it. And it's like, it just goes from top to bottom, from bottom to top. And it has a lot of seed feeling to it, like the seed of
Yes.
the tree. I don't know
Yes.
why, but that comes to me a lot looking at this too. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like sea
And
pods.
that's why I think it really does have an element of demonstrating force and fusion,
Yes.
how that happens.
Yes.
I think her shapes are very evocative, partly because she was really in touch with spiritual energy. and her guides really worked with her on bringing that to her process, you
That's so
know?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, she really, and the series is incredible. I mean, I wanted to do cards on every one of them. There are 8 of
I bet, yeah.
them, but never mind.
You can. There's no one stopping you.
It's true.
All right,
A deck of 8.
that could be. Okay, I think I opened this one up, but I can't remember if we talked. No, we didn't talk about this one.
Oh yeah, the Sundance.
Sundance.
This is
Endurance.
Sundance endurance. You know, the Plains Indians have this practice of coming together in the summer
Yeah.
and sharing. And one of the things that they did was they did tests of endurance, and the men would erect this tree, which is a cottonwood tree, and they would go into the prairie and find these trees and talk to them and um, give them offerings and very ceremoniously cut them down to be the central pillar, the axis mundi of this hoop that they were creating, the circle, you know, the wheel, the medicine wheel, basically. It's a medicine wheel ritual. And then what they would do is the men would they would put hooks in their back and suspend from the tree and whirl around with these hooks in their back. And they would also, they had buffalo skulls, and they would drag buffalo skulls around the sacred tree. And so, and they say the person who founded the Sundance said that the people were becoming weak and needed to be strengthened by this process. So it's very, I don't know, I think it's very evocative, you know.
It
Blood.
is. It's when I look at like whenever I see like people when I look at this picture, listeners, if there's like a pole and there's ropes, and I mean, this is the first thing I think of is this doesn't look comfortable.
No,
It feels uncomfortable when I look at it.
no,
And endurance to endure anything. The word endurance has a lot of connotations anyway.
yeah,
Like sometimes I think of someone really pushing through and making it till the end, and sometimes
that's
I
right,
think of it as someone who's just about to collapse, and someone's trying to like coax them to keep going. And then I think
right,
of enduring suffering.
yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
like no,
right,
there's nothing enduring. You don't endure like pleasurable days.
yeah, right, exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I like that. I
and
like this one
actually,
a lot.
yeah, and actually, it was a trance induction too. The
Ah,
pain
that's
is used for trance
interesting. I
induction.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just an
Okay.
example of that. This is the Bishnoi Kedri tree.
Okay.
And that's from Rajasthan. And when you're driving through Rajasthan, you're going through this desert, hot. And all of a sudden, you come to this Kedri woods. It's like a woods of trees. There are trees everywhere. The temperature drops, you know, and this is these are the villages of the Bishnoi, which means 29. And in the 14th century, there was a guy who founded this religious sect based on 29 principles of preserving the environment. And the Kedjeri tree is really intimately connected with the Bishnoi way of life because it provides food and shelter and firewood and medicine, everything like that.
Yeah.
But then in was it the 17th century? Yeah, the 17th century, there was this woman from the village. Her name was Amrit Devi. And the Maharaja wanted to build a new palace.
Yeah.
And so he decided he wanted to cut down the kedgeree trees to make fuel for his lime kilns.
Okay.
And the women of the village, Amrit Devi, organized them, and they surrounded the trees and they hugged the trees. They were the original tree huggers.
Tree huggers.
Yes, that's why
Original
they
tree
have these bloody
huggers.
hands. These bloody hands here because 300 and so people were killed
Oh
by
my
the
gosh.
soldiers from the Maharaja in order to cut down these trees. So it's the origin of the Chipko movement too. In the Himalayas, there's this thing called the Chipko movement, which are also tree huggers. So those are the original tree huggers who venerated their trees and gave up their lives for their tree of life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find
Wow.
it gives me
Love
shivers
that.
just to think
And
about it.
those branches going around her, I mean the vine or branches of the tree leaves. I don't know what that is. Just it's something about it reminds me of um like barbed wire kind of.
I
You know?
know, I know. You know, that was in the picture. She was standing in a group of kedgeree bushes, and I just left it in because I thought it was so evocative.
It's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, and we got the last one, humility.
Last one, Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar. I like that name.
Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Yes,
Yeah.
humility. That's just that
Nebuchadnezzar.
picture. That picture
Yeah.
of that man with no neck, I don't know, and having turning into like a beast and evolving into, I don't know what's happening to him, but he's really crazy. I love this one.
Yeah, he's really crazy. Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon.
Yes.
And during the Babylonian exile, um, the story is in the book of Daniel. And Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He had a dream that his beautiful, flourishing tree with all kinds of wonderful fruits and things to provide for his people was cut down and reduced to a stump. And he was reduced to a beast who had to crawl on the ground and eat grass like the animals.
Yeah.
And nobody in the court wanted to interpret this dream.
Yeah.
You know, but Daniel, he called Daniel finally because he had heard about Daniel's interpretations, and Daniel said, "Yeah, you know what? You're going to fall. Like your empire is going to fall, and you're going to be brought low."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to him in life. And actually, he was restored to the throne later. But it was a humiliating experience for him.
Humility and humiliating. Those are like humility. I have this discussion with clients a lot, actually. What do you think humility is?
But they're different. You know? They're different. But I think sometimes humiliation leads to humility.
You're right. What is true humility to you? Like, I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot of different. I'd love to know what it is to you because everyone has different ideas of what humility is. You know?
Yeah. I think it means right sized. I think humility means like there's this story about
like a way of putting that right sized.
Yeah. There's a story about Celtic shaman who they sent their initiates out into the woods to find a staff that was the same size as they were, that was the same height. And the idea is, what's right sized, you know? And right sized means like we're all bozos on this bus, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
to me, I'm literal, so it's this side sized.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't make any sense at all. None of that sentence made sense.
Right. Oh, I have one here. Okay. Did I ever show you this? I probably did. I probably showed you.
Oh, you have a shaman stick? I love your shaman staff. Yeah. I have one too, right over here. Shaman staff. Oh my gosh. Mine's not as cool as yours. You have feathers on yours. Oh, I love it. I can't see it become so much because of your background's kind of blurring it. But watch our listeners. She has like a shaman staff with feathers attached and a crystal at the top. And oh my gosh, that's just beautiful. Is it the right size?
Yeah. The crystal is a little bit above my head.
Okay, that's perfect.
It kind of turned out that way. And I think it's meaningful because there is spirit that's kind of beyond my physical,
I
my
love
physical being.
that. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love stabs and stuff like that. Anything shamany or witchy or any objects that just have that something, especially crystals. If it has a crystal with it, it's like I love it. Yeah, I love crystals.
Right,
And a
right,
crystal
yeah.
just adds magic to everything. I don't know. I do like accessories and stuff like that on people and on cats, like their collar. Like my boys have
Oh,
both had
yeah.
this. I even got one of my like cats like a little like shirt collar one time. They had those little buttons like he's going to work, you know.
Right.
No, but they said
Yeah.
thank you so much, Patricia, for teaching us all this today. There's so much about uh, everything I don't know, but there's a lot about where the roots of everything I believe in come from, that I don't know. And you've taught me
Right.
some things today that I definitely didn't know. And where can the listeners of
Yeah.
you got the new people maybe who haven't heard from you or met you before? Where can they find you and get a reading from you or find out about you?
Right. Well, actually, my readings that I'm doing are under Becca J
Okay,
on Everclear.
never clear. Okay,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Everclear is our
And
sponsor. Yeah,
yes, they
and
are.
I'm under, she's under
Um,
Becca J, you said, right? I called you before, I think.
mhm.
Becca J, and I'm Lisa
Oh,
Resnick
okay.
on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that Lisa.
Yeah, it's funny. I love it. And I've called quite a few advisors so, or chat or whatever. Yeah, I love Everclear
Yeah.
advice. And then there are
Why
sponsors,
not?
watchers, and you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve from an Everclear advisor. It's also an app. It's also Everclear Advice app in the Google Play and the Apple Store. And you can just go to the .com and find us if you want to find us there. Anywhere else they can find you? And do you have any of your decks up for sale or anything
My
available?
deck. Oh, it's interesting. I mean, at a certain point in my life, I just have a real struggle with commercial business stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
What's important to do. So my deck, my tarot deck is available on Make Playing Cards.
Oh, good. Thank you for telling
Yeah,
me
you can get it
that.
on Make Playing Cards, and it's what is the name of it?
Ah! The name of it is edit, 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 edit. I'm getting a lot of room here, and I go crop it. The name of the
New
deck is.
New Traveler's Tarot with no comma. New
Okay.
Traveler's Tarot.
I'll
Yeah.
put a link to that in the description of the podcast, guys. And I'll put
Great,
it in the link
great.
to the last podcast too. If you send me that link, I'll put a link to it in that podcast where
Okay.
you went and talked about that tarot deck.
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
forgot. I think you did tell me a long time ago that you were going to put it up on like possibly that one, or maybe you did, but I never got to see the finished product in my
Yeah.
hands, and I want to go buy that. So definitely send me that.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about, I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to do it for that deck. I may do it for this, because actually the book, I'm
This
working
is
on the book now.
fascinating. This is
Yeah.
fascinating. It's hard for me to find oracle decks that I can really work with and over because something that's valuable to me about a deck, tarot, oracle, whatever it is if I can use it again and again and again and again and again and again, or I can just use it once in a while and every single time I use it, it hits me. But an oracle deck in particular
Right.
is if I learn something every time and I can relate it to my life experience and what I'm personally going through. That's part of the magic of oracle decks. But what you've done with yours, what you're putting together here, I really love the tree of life. And I've always been fascinated by the symbol of a tree anyway, just as what it is. It's got everything
Yeah.
you need and it doesn't kill
Yeah.
anything to survive.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's a tree is a beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
I do want to thank you for coming back, Patricia. I really appreciate it. And I always have fun. And I want you to come back and teach us some more. And definitely, give me a link to that make playing cards, and I'll put that in here along with your information for everybody. I have to get some advice from you before you go. So let's see. What's your, well, first I'll ask you a question. What is your favorite thing about doing some kind of creative process like this? What's your favorite part? So I was going to ask you
the magic of things appearing out of nowhere and synchronicity.
I can say that about writing
the magic of
books.
feeling. Yeah, it's like the guides are close to me. I mean, a lot of times my process is clairsentient. Sometimes it's clairaudient.
Yeah.
But I find a lot of clairsentience and synchronicity in doing this particular one. Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
cool. There is something special about every
Yeah.
creation that has its own little flavor of magic. Yeah. I love that.
Right, right. I was a little worried about the meanings, but as I'm working with it, I'm finding that the meanings are. I'm beginning to see the richness in them, and
That's really
also to
cool.
see
Yeah.
how to label these different. I mean, some of the labels I'm still working on. Some of the,
Right.
well, I call them labels, but they're really ways, keywords for interpreting the
Yeah, like
card.
catchphrase, keywords to
Yeah.
remember what you might have picked. What are you reading the book? What you might have remembered from past times you read it. And I love that. That's how I first started reading tarot, was through the Osho Zen deck, and it was all words. I think I've talked with you about that before, but now I can read the
Oh,
traditional
yeah.
tarot. So yeah, that took a long time. But thank you so much. And I guess lastly, since you did tell me your favorite part is the magic, we have to get advice. So, what would be your advice to somebody who's trying to find that magic to get excited to start something like this, like a project like this, to find that magic, get it going, get it flowing? Identify. Well, you can identify it if you feel it. It's creating.
Yeah.
It's just creating something. To me, that's a magical feeling. But
Yeah, it is. I
how
mean,
would
I
you
think it
like get
depends on the
that
person, you
inspiration?
know?
What's that?
Yeah. I think it depends on the person,
Depends on the person.
but
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For me,
yeah,
okay,
being in nature,
I'll give you a real specific one then. Somebody who was like always wanted to be a writer and always tell stories in their head, and they have written stories, they're decent, and they have the one book they've always wanted to write all their lives and they never did it. How can they find the magic and inspiration to finally sit down and do it? That's not me. I'm just saying somebody out there is like that. What would you
yeah,
tell them? How
yeah,
would that person find that last bit of inspiration to get back on the horse? Get their creation going. And
right. Well, one of the things you can do is gather resources. Um, the the magic depends. I mean, I think a lot of people use things like physical objects or rituals, partly because it creates the conditions. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I just saw this thing. I bought these cups. I still have to use them. They're different colored cups, and you put water in them, and you put them on a window in the sunshine or the moonlight to charge the water. And
Mm-hmm.
because of the color of the cup, it charges the water according to that vibration.
Oh, I
I mean,
gotcha.
it's
That's
just magic.
cool. That's cool.
It's just
Yeah,
magic.
that's
So
magic.
being able to find some way, like I don't do a lot with physical objects. I'm
Yeah,
not that kind of worker, but I know people who definitely are, who have
definitely.
their
Yeah, me
ritual
too.
objects and their routine and everything like that. But having a way to venerate your inner being, kind of,
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and make that connection and open the connection to that the inner pathway, because that's the magic, the inner pathway, whether it's the external world like forests and green, or whether it's stones, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
diamonds are beautiful,
And that's going back
they
to each
just fill me
person,
up.
whatever each person needs. Yeah, it goes back to
Yeah,
that original
yeah,
advice.
yeah.
I mean, the answer. Yeah, that's so true. Well, thank you so much
resourcing
again. I
and
could just
waiting.
talk to you.
Yeah.
I could just keep going. I could talk all day. That's why you keep coming back. Love it. Thank
Well,
you
I
for
really
that.
love it.
And
Yeah, I
I guess at
really,
this
really love
point,
it. Yeah.
I guess I'll let the listeners and watchers have their lives back. And wherever you may be, listeners and watchers, I hope you're having a good time. And I love you. Patricia, do you love the listeners and the watchers?
Bye.
She says bye. She loves you. She loves you. Goodbye. Peace out.
Love, love, love.